Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Bant Planeswalkers. We have Teferi in the house. We have Narset in the house, and we've got Granddaddy Jace, the Mind Sculptor, in the house. I'm so excited to be playing this card. You could say that it's a dangerous card to play when there's Orcish Bowmasters. You could also say that the One Ring is objectively a much better card than Jace, the Mind Sculptor. I'm tuning out all that noise. You'll never see me play the One Ring, I don't think. I'd much rather play Delighted Halfling, which ramps out these uncounterable Planeswalkers, ramps out Uro, who helps us level up our mana base, and generally just serves as a way that we can pay for cracking clues and casting hardcast forces mid-game and stuff like that. This card is awesome, and this entire deck is built around making the most out of Delighted Halfling. So we've got a ton of Planeswalkers. We've got 7 Planeswalkers and the 3 Uros that we can cast off of this. You can even cast Tamiyo off of this. The rest of the deck is just good blue and white spells. We've got 3 Prismatic Ending, 4 Plows. We've got an extra Force in the mix because there's a lot of combo floating around out there. We've got the Loam Wasteland combo. We've got Karakas as a utility land, and I'm very excited about this. We have Endurance main deck. This card is so good right now against Delver, against Reanimator, against a lot of graveyard strategies, Oops All spells. Speaking of Oops All spells, a lot of our sideboard is dedicated to not losing the combo because we expect to win most fair matchups. We've got 3 more Forces of Negation. We've got 3 Hydroblasts for the Eldrazi matchup. We've got 3 Consign to Memory and 2 Harbingers. We have Ground Seal, which is a cool card that cantrips, and it makes it so this is a easier card to play against decks like Nadu Breakfast than playing like a Grafdigger's Cage, because this cantrips immediately, and your upper card, it also pitches to Endurance, so it increases your green count. It does mean that you probably want to bring out your Loams when you bring it in. By the way, I have an entire in-depth sideboard guide that is in the video description. All my substitutions for key matchups. I always love to post those free sideboard guides whenever I create. It's just part of deck construction. You got to think about those matchups. And then I've got Carpet of Flowers here to help with tempo mirrors and tempo matchups. This is not a tempo deck, so not a tempo mirror. Don't let the Wastelands fool you. We're not going to be tempoing people. We're going to be grinding the heck out of them. And then Lavinia is back. She is uncounterable off Delighted Halfling. She's very good against Omnitel, Oops All spells, a lot of the premier combo decks right now. So we're going to play a full 5 rounds. Should be a lot of fun. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Gamera? Like, I think it's a Godzilla monster. They've been most recently playing combo decks like Sneak and Show. I think this is a fine keep. We can just play the Tamiyo. I mean, it sucks to have these Delighted Halflings, but if they're on a combo deck, we'd be remiss to put this back, and we can probably crack some clues and find a green source here. I mean, Halfling is a very good card, even if it doesn't come out turn 1. Opponent's mulling to 6, 5. Okay, I'm very glad I kept this hand. So even if they Thoughtseize us, we still have a Force effect. They can't take us off Force blue card. Opponent is kept. Okay, so it's technically greedy for me to Tamiyo here. Just in case. I think I'm just going to play the island and pass. I say that because, our opponent could like have Entomb or something. Oh, they could have Daze. We may need this blue card. Okay, now I can definitely Tamiyo. And we did lose a clue there, but it's good to be safe. You don't want to lose a game against a combo deck where your opponent mulled to 5. Okay, and we drew a second blue card too, so I definitely feel safe deploying this. I don't feel safe, but the clues are going to be worth it. We need to take a turn to make ourselves slightly vulnerable to set ourselves up for success. If they have Force Protected Show and Tell or something, there's not a lot we can do here. But there will be more we can do once we are drawing an extra card every turn. Misty is fantastic. I'm just going to come in for a hug. I'm so tempted to just jam this Narset. Like, I'm sure it's going to be backbreaking against their blue deck. But I want to make sure it resolves, and I can crack this clue. I want to make sure we're not dead. Let's get our Savannah, I guess, so we have all 3 colors. White may not be a factor in this matchup at all. All right, so there's a decent chance. I think it's like a 50-50 chance that we draw a blue card here when we crack this clue in case we need a double Force. Ancient Tomb. All right. Well, first things first. They could have Fluster. Currently, we cannot stop Fluster. But, yeah, if we can't stop Fluster, but we could stop Spell Pierce. They may have Spell Pierce. I hate to pitch the Narset here, but I think it is correct. They have 4 cards in hand. No reason to take a damage here. Yeah, it sucks, but we're going to do it. We'll draw some more. Like, we just survive and we draw some more. They could have Veil. Wow. Oh, that's so good for us. Sorry, Narset. I'm sorry that I had to pitch you, but like, you have to be safe. It's easy in you know, with the benefit of hindsight to think like, you should have just force pitch force. Go for it. But that's not how the real world works. The real world is messy and complicated. Okay, we got our blue card for force. I do kind of want to go ahead and draw here just in case I find a land. I'm going to take them off that tomb. I think I just take them off tomb and pass with like lots of mana up. Because now I can pay for Fluster. I think it'd be a mistake to leave them with that tomb. All right, now we just have to hope our one-sided Howling Mine outdraws them. We could have played a second Halfling there, but there's no real benefit in having a second one. It would be rare that we would double spell. Okay, so they are on Sneak and Show, I think, with the red. So we don't have to worry about a lot of things. I think Omnitel, like the blue-green version, is a little bit scarier of the two. They topped. I think there's a decent chance they had Spell Pierce there. Another Show and Tell. Well, we have a free force pitching Tamio here. We just have to hope this works. If this doesn't work, we're dead. Okay, it worked. All right. That's 2 of their 3 Show and Tells. Teferi is a very good card. Okay, so I think this is a turn where we just Teferi bounce nothing. I'm going to play this out so I can just blue Teferi. It's uncounterable. We'll bounce nothing. Draw. Ponder's not terrible. I guess we go ahead and just play out the Halfling. It'll suck if they can send it again. For all they know, we have Force Blue card in hand, but we don't. If they have land, Sneak Attack, that's dangerous. Okay, this Ponder makes it less likely we die this turn. Brainstorm, okay. Just cantripping. This is where Narset would have been fantastic. Like, we would have shut off 2 cantrips if we played that way, but we did need that force. We would be dead had we not pitched the Narset. So, yeah. Okay, that's great to see. That does little. You know, it might be worth Prismatic Ending that just to restrict their mana a little bit. Okay, so options. We can definitely flip Tamio here and regrow a force. I don't know if it'll be in time. We're definitely plussing here. To see the maximum number of cards that make sense to Uro first. Blue. Green. Oh, well, I'll just do this blue. Well, if I do this blue, then I can't ponder. Yeah. All right. We're just going to go green, blue. Oh, they can't counter stuff anyway. So I'll just tap like this. And we'll use this mana. We'll Uro. So I think it's totally fine if we just ponder, try to find a force. And then... No. Okay. We definitely would benefit from finding a Brainstorm here. Let's go to combat first just to make sure we get a clue. And then we can ponder. And then we can Prismatic End that Petal. This Plow is like a super dead draw. Gosh, I want that Jace. I don't want that land. I guess what we do is we just take the land now. And then in a case of emergency, we could crack and surveil. But I almost certainly want that Jace because that's going to be a great win con. Did I already play my land for turn? I guess I did. Oh, no. It's the Tamio flip is on the stack. Let's plus here. Now I can play the land. And I am going to just hit this Petal. There's no way for us to get to 4 colors, so we can't take out a Sneak Attack anyway. All right, we are super duper vulnerable. But if their card is like an Atraxa, we can plow that out of the way. And I do think we can card advantage our way out with it. I mean, we have lots of ways. Okay, they just scoop. That felt great. That felt amazing. And we've got an amazing sideboard to bring in. Let's take a look at our substitutions here. So this is Omnitel. Sneak and Show is even better. So we're taking out the plows. Oh. Taking out... so Lavinia's coming in. Hydroblaster coming in. I don't bring in Consigns just because they're mostly dead. unless they are playing One Ring, and they could absolutely play One Ring, but it's less common for like the sneak attack decks to play One Ring. I don't know that playing One Ring is correct. Kai Sawatari, Sawatari X, the artist and Magic player, one of the most entertaining streamers in the Magic space, in my humble opinion. He often plays... Okay, so we could leave our basics just in case they try to Blood Moon us. We could pull out... I'll finish my thought. I promise. I'm not going to abandon you with that thought. Okay. He often plays... well, he's been playing to great success, blue-green. And it just plays a couple of Veils and a couple of Uros. And I think that's way stronger than the One Ring build. If I were playing that type of archetype, I would definitely play what he's playing. I wouldn't play Sneak Attack. I think Sneak Attack is weaker right now because of Hydroblast. And everybody's rocking the Hydroblast because Moon Stompies everywhere. So we could keep these PEs in. We could take out the Endurance. I don't think Endurance is going to matter in this matchup. Loam could matter. They did have a lot of non-basics. Loam refills our hand. Yeah, I think I'm going to roll like this. Snap keep, friends. Snap keep, my excellent friends. Look at this hand. Obviously, it's got a little redundancy, but it's got a force. It's got a Tamio to start, like, instantiate the pressure. Oh, my goodness. Second force effect. Now I'm kind of tempted to just hold. Yeah, I'm going to hold with double force up, just in case we get into a fight. I can't punish their Surveil land, but I will waste it next turn. They don't get Surveil. I know they have Surveil in their deck. All right. Fetching basic, which is going to inspire me to fetch basics as well. I don't want to be caught. Main phase, Brainstorm. They drop a Volk. Very tasty, wastable Volk. If I draw a blue card, I am 100% going to slam a Tamio and just waste that Volk. They did not shuffle their Brainstorm. No, wait, they did. Never mind. Wait. No, they didn't. Okay, so that's good to know. And we could have surveilled there, but I do want to be able to play. I want to make sure I have access to a basic island if I need it. I did draw another blue card. First things first, let's waste this. I don't want them to Pyro my Tamio. I don't know they're playing Pyro, but yeah, like Tamio needs to stick. Grab our island. Again, like our deck is mostly blue. Like certainly after boarding, most of the relevant cards are blue. So we've got double force up. We've wasted them. We've got a one-sided Howling Mine online. Okay, Surveil. They weren't able to shuffle, but they were able to put... Well, they kept. Okay, so their hand must be all gas. They didn't want to put away anything from that Brainstorm. Loam to get back to Wasteland. How do we feel about that? We tap out a Spell Pierce. I mean, it feels pretty freaking sweet. Is what it feels like. What we could do is we could draw this turn, and the next turn we could Loam. I think I like that. And I do have a blue-green Surveil land, but I'd rather just draw a card off Tamio. Yeah, I think I just play this out, and we'll pass. But Loam... Yeah, we're not going to be able to get the Wasteland yet, but if they fetch another basic, that's even better. If they play like an Ancient Tomb or something, like that's where we can really go into the butter zone. Traders, stock up, sure. Take all the time you need with those lands. So now the question becomes, do we hit the Thundering Falls or do we hit the City of Traders that's going to kill itself? I think we hit the Thundering Falls. And then when they play another land, it's going to really cramp their style. All right, I'm just going to draw here. I'll get a forest. Boom diggity. Lavinia. Oh my goodness. Lavinia is such a beating against them too, but I do think it's correct to go ahead and Loam here. Draw Uro. We're going to have to go to discard. I'd like my Wasteland. I guess I'll take all these. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put them right back in my board. Right back in my yard. The key thing is wasting them every turn. That is what we're after. Flusterstorm. Okay. That is okay. They are temporarily halting my Life from the Loam effects. I won't pay for it. Let's play out this land. I could ponder, but I'm not really looking for anything. I mean, force number 3 would actually be great. We could use it. I guess pondering is correct. I mean, 3 force effects would just be nutty if we could make that happen. I mean, these are great cards. Not really what we need. We have all the land we want from here on out. I'm going to any order shuffle this and just hope to spike a force. I could just redraw this. I want to get a force. I can redraw. Yeah, ponder. Fine. Okay, so we have 2 forces up. We're not totally safe, but I do feel okay here. And all of our permission is hard permission. It's not soft permission. So we, like them having a lot of mana, it doesn't change. It changes like the number of interaction spells they can cast. This is going to be a force of negation. I will pitch it. I mean, I could definitely pitch Jace here. It's not really part of the near-term plan. Uro is probably more relevant if we loam. They could Pyro here, and then we have to force. And if I force, I'm going to pitch Lavinia, probably. Yeah, I think Uro is better in a long game than Lavinia is. Yeah. Okay. That worked out. So we know they have a threat in their hand. They did not play a land. So we go after the Thundering Falls. Unfortunately, that means Show and Tell is still on. If we go after the City of Traders, Show and Tell is not on. So I think we go after Traders. Then they have to draw a land. Yeah, I'm going to loam here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and loam this back. And we have loam plus... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this City of Traders, maximize the amount of damage. I can hit this later. It sucks to have to do that, but I do think it's correct. And then I'm going to ponder, trying to find another force effect. This is shuffle. Easy shuffle. Okay, we drew the basic plans anyway, which is the worst land in our deck probably, unless they slam a Blood Moon. All right, we're vulnerable. Misty, so they did have the land. Okay, and it looks like they're... Hopefully this is just a stock up and it's not a show and tell. But if it's a show and tell, we're pretty screwed. Okay, thank goodness. So this probably gets them what they need. So time is of the essence. My instinct is to go ahead and... We Uro. Well, let's see what we draw. But I am thinking Uro here. I don't think Loam... I mean, Loam could be good, but they could have put a land in hand. We could just put Uro into play, and that's pressure. And then we keep this in hand in case we find a force. I think that is the correct play. If we find a Brainstorm, it's also huge. I want to waste them, but it's not this turn. Force of negation, yes! Yes, that's exactly what we needed. So rewarded for taking that draw. Okay. And now I think we just bring back a row and we start to close the game. Okay, so I'm just going to go get a Trop here. And then we'll do our blue, blue, green, green. We can put another land in play too, which probably won't matter if they're playing Fluster as their protection. Blue, blue, green, green. Uro, get back on the table. Get rid of some of these fetches. Well, I guess we don't really need the fetches. I'll get rid of just cards that I'm not going to need. Ponder. Okay, done. Okay, so we still got a Ponder and a Force in the yard for when we flipper later, which actually I think we flipper now. I don't want to loam yet. I can do that later if I want. Oh, a Hydroblast. So good. So good. Oh, I guess she didn't flip. Ponder's fine. This game is going to come to a very abrupt close. We still have tons of clues to crack, even if they get rid of Uro somehow, and I don't think their deck, other than Pyroblast, supports a way to get rid of Uro. If they Pyro Uro, I'll just let him die. I've got him coming back next turn anyway. There's the mountain. That's a really chill looking mountain. Look at that thing. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attempt to counter this. They've got 4 cards in hand. If they have Force, we have a ball game. All right, we did it. And even if they put in like an Emrakul, we could survive an Emrakul strike. And we could just dig to try to find a Crocus. We wouldn't necessarily win with Emrakul, but we had so many permanents. Yeah, that felt great. And that is a tougher matchup if you're playing control. And that is where having like a huge anti-combo sideboard comes into play. A lot of people take for granted, like, oh, I've got Force of Will. Force of Will is not enough. I mean, you saw how many must-counter cards they put down there. We needed every force we drew. All right, we're up against somebody who is maybe playing fair, maybe playing unfair. They have a history of both. They've been playing mono like Golgari, which is just like very fair. Like if they're on this very fair deck, great. I'm not pitching this hand. This hand's awesome against that. And I'll just open with a Tamio. I can even afford to fetch a... No, I'm not going to fetch just in case I need green later. I'll play this out. I mean, they could be on Moonstompy. Like everybody could be on Moonstompy is the thing. We don't have immediate need for green. I think it's okay for me to just go get an island here, just to respect the possibility of Moonstompy, because Moonstompy is a very different game if you have a basic out. It doesn't actually matter this much this first game. Okay, so they are on black. Okay, Thoughtseize is fine. They're going to take our plow. We can waste their Urborg, which may be worthwhile. They could have a bunch of wastelands and other cards that don't matter in their hand, like that can't cast like double black spells and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to assume that they're on fair. What? They took the ending? Okay, interesting. Well, I do think it's fine to waste here, and here I'm punished for I drew Uro when my only way to get a green source went out the door. Why would they take the prismatic ending? I'm going to waste them. The thing about having something like Tamio, this is like Tempo 101. If you've got like a clue generator on your side of the table, there's no harm in just repeating the previous turn. They 1-for-1 me with a Thoughtseize. Forest, okay. So we did kind of screw their man. Oh, this is great. Yeah. Maybe they took the ending because they've got a lot of threats and they're just like, well, at least I get some life from the plow. So you don't let this guy live. He is absolutely brutal. He just turns on their entire deck. So I suspect they're just on like the black-green depths. Or not depths, natural order deck. They probably don't have any wastelands main deck. They probably don't have any removal main deck. Probably just like a heavy dedication. Well, we can take a look at what they were playing. This was like many months ago, but this is probably the... interesting. Witherbloom Apprentice. Okay. So I don't feel terrible having this Uro in hand, considering that we drew the Force, and now there is the possibility that they're on a combo deck. Okay, they could be... okay, I think they're just depths. Because the only deck that plays main deck Pithing Needle is like Turbo Depths. I'm not going to interact with that. I do have Wasteland in my deck, but I've already used it. We have a lot of answers. And that might explain why they took the Prismatic Ending. Is Prismatic Ending against a Merit Lage token is just you lose it, but Plow you gain 20 life, which gives you a lot of latitude to... Oh, interesting. They chose Tamio. So we're not going to be flipping Tamio. We're just going to be drawing clues. I think it's fine to go ahead and draw with Uro here. Just get him in the yard. He's not going to come back anytime soon. Actually, I think it's correct to just draw here naturally instead of getting Uro in the yard. And my reasoning is simple. I want to avoid Bowmasters, which they may not even have in their deck. Okay, this is good in case we need to get rid of this later. And also, okay, that's good to know about. So they can cut us off green here. But they're instead opting to play a Baragoyf, which we can Prismatic End. This is great. All right. Halfling can come out this turn. So we can Halfling, and then we don't have the 4 colors we need. We have to get rid of Baragoyf this turn. Yeah, so I'll just play out a regular land, green, white. I think it's highly likely that they just waste us next turn. But they may just be like, oh, they've got so many colors, who cares? Now we can just keep stacking these clues. They have like a collector oof or something that can deny us our clues. Earlier, I didn't really complete my thought, but like I think keeping a card in hand for Force is worth it. We're not guaranteed to draw blue cards. We can just crack clues on our opponent's turn as necessary to get through the clues and avoid running out of action without flipping her. Okay, Mox Diamond is great. You love to see Mox Diamond this late in the game. Hexmage. So the problem with Hexmage is if they just have Dark Depths as their last card, we just lose. It's not really true because we can Uro, we can flip Tamio. Tamio can regrow Prismatic Ending. It's a dangerous game to play. Also, they could waste this Savannah and then we don't have Uro anymore and we don't have the ability to survive. I think because of this Wasteland and because they're so low in cards, I think it is correct to go ahead and just force this. It's too much of a risk. They just put the Dark Depths in play and they have nothing to go with it. It's not that scary. Yeah. And I would be willing to bet that they would have probably wasted us off green there. Maybe they're not. They totally should have wasted us off green. Okay, so they're hellbent. I can attack here. They could draw something that just straight up kills us. I think I want to go ahead and draw here just to see what we find. I don't think playing Teferi is good. If they find something, it might be like a sorcery speed type thing. I'll just play out this. Just additional material. Yeah. Additional mana. So we can't crack a clue here. Yeah, I mean, we could be dead if they have the right card. They don't have the right card. That's great. That probably represents the Surveil land. They can start manually taking counters off of Dark Depths, which I bet you they're going to start doing. Okay, so now we have the land. I think it makes sense to just go ahead and Narset first and see what we can find. I can use some of this mana. Narset. This doesn't have any effect on our opponent, who is unlikely to draw or to care. Okay, there we go. That's a great card. Done. And now we can just attack, and the game is over. Like there's no, yeah, they concede to the plow. They weren't going to draw out of that. I stand by all of our decisions. I think we could have easily lost that game if we had gotten hubristic. If in our hubris, we'd make the mistake of not forcing there. Okay, so this is not in my sideboard guide. Actually, I don't think we board in anything. We're kind of pre-deck, or we're like pre-boarded for this. There are some bad cards in our deck though. So there are some cards that they might play, like Not of This World. I think Harbinger definitely comes in. Yes, they get like a... Okay, so Harbinger goes in, and I think we take out one of our Narsets, two of our Narsets. Narset's just so bad against them. It's like a bad cantrip. We keep all our lands in. You could argue that Force Negation could come in here. Life from the Loam is potentially really good. If they don't need a waste, we can just keep recurring. Jace is a win con. It's super slow. I mean, I kind of feel like taking out a Narset and just bringing in another force. It feels like it's better. I don't have any hope that Narset's going to do anything. Actually, we could even take out Jace. I think we already submitted, but we could take out Jace because one of the things that Vampire Hexmage can do, even if they don't have access to a Dark Depths to create Merit Lage, is they can just sacrifice it and like kill your Planeswalker, which is really... Endurance represents a blocker. I think we could keep this on the strength of a potential turn 2 Uro, but it's not really turn 2 Uro if we're starting with Hedge Maze. We get the Hedge Maze out of the way. How quickly can they assemble the combo? I think this is a mulligan. I don't think Halfling matters that much. This is a plow hand, so we go get Tundra, and then we can plow, and then we have Uro up. Yeah, I like this better because we have to be able to answer like whatever their early play is. I'll just put back one of these just out of respect for potential Bowmasters. I mean, if they have Bowmasters on the board, this is the matchup you bring it in. So we're going to kill Elvish Reclaimer if that's what they play here. Okay. Yeah, you just don't let this guy live. So let's go get a Tundra here. Plow. They could be playing Legolas Quick Reflexes, which is also extremely brutal against control decks. Okay, black. This is probably... Inquisition? Sure. And if you want to put the Uro in my yard, I'm totally down with that. So this is just a 1-for-1. Like, one of the problems with discard, and one of the reasons it's not usually very good, is because you're paying a mana and you're 1-for-1ing. So now I don't have to pay to like use that cantrip. So it's a tempo gain. Okay, they binned a Vampire Hexmage, which tells me they don't yet have the card. They're probably looking... Oh, that's good. If we can... Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and shoot for the moon here. Endurance, I don't think it really matters. I do want that land. Tamio's fine. So, options. So, we put back Endurance, and we could put back Basic Force. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think they're going to go after our lands. And then we Tamio, and we hope to rip a land. When we have a Brainstorm to get us there, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to get Basics, so I'll go get a Trop. Choke is a card they could have. That would be pretty devastating. We'll have to force that. Okay, they're just passing. They could have Endurance. I don't think it makes sense in this context, but they could absolutely have it. I think I can just brainstorm with the endurance here, and then we can, keep our Tamio alive. Okay, this is probably endurance. Okay, endurance is fine. I'm not going to force that. I'm going to brainstorm, and then I'll deploy a halfling, and I'll just let Tamio kind of do her thing. I can just brainstorm now. It doesn't really matter. We have force if they somehow interact with this. Okay, Karakas is one of the best rips in the deck. We don't need the second halfling. We do want this land. We want Karakas. Yeah, we could just skip halfling completely. But then, I'd like to play a halfling out this turn. I guess I could just redraw this strand next turn. But I like to keep the Karakas as a surprise. Oh, well, I'm not going to keep it as a surprise. So she flips before she can die to endurance. Now we're going to plus. Well, we will go ahead and play out the Karakas. Halfling. Next turn, we have Uro if they don't give us something to force. Okay. Opponent is going to come in, probably attack Tamio, I would imagine. That's fine. Baragoyf. So, I don't really want to deal with Baragoyf. We do have Uro. I think I'm going to force this because this represents... we don't know that we're going to find an answer to Baragoyf. Baragoyf connecting could just be death. They have a Vampire Hexmage they can return. Actually, because we do have a clue. We have stuff going on. I'm going to pitch. Yeah, sorry, Uro. I really wanted to see you, but Baragoyf, you have to respect it. It's a really strong creature. And we're if they had potential Veil Up, I wouldn't do that, but they don't. Now, there are a lot of live draws here. That's not one of them, but wait. Did we know we were drawing that? I think we knew we were drawing that. So I'll plus here. I can just surveil. Huh. Yeah, I feel like I might as well just draw a card here. Just in case it's some Haymaker Planeswalker. Wait, did I know that was there? I knew that was there. I'm so bad. So bad at this. I'm going to hold it and we'll deploy it next turn. I don't think it's worth minusing Tamio at all. I think she's going to be on, whatever that emblem of weakness, or there's a card that reduces talisman of something. But it makes all your opponent's attackers. That's basically what Tamio's passive ability does. All right, Hexmage is out. Don't have it. I mean, even if they have it, we have Karakas, so it's not a big fear. All right, let's go get our Surveil here. And yeah, I punted really hard not shuffling away that halfling. We really don't need that. At least we're not drawing that. Okay. Prismatic Ending is pretty awesome. I think we just... If we end this... This will probably kill itself. Maybe... I think it's fine to just end here. And the endurance. And then that gives Tamio license to go up north. And then they can always sack the Hexmage to kill it. The only reason I'm doing this is because we have the Karakas. If they take the Karakas, then I'll feel like a horse's patoot, as Tommy Boy says. But now Tamio can go higher north, and she might be able to regrow like a Prismatic Ending crop rotation. They're probably going to have to get Wasteland first. Urza Saga, I don't really fear that, but I may come to rue my decision not to... I mean, we would be so screwed if we were being beaten down right now by a Baragoyf. So I don't really regret it. Talon Gates. Okay, that doesn't matter. You can hit Tamio for 1 here. At the end of this chain, they can go get Expedition Map, and then they can use that to get Dark Depths. But they'll probably just use it to go get another Urza Saga. I think this is like a great situation where we can just Teferi that back. Wait, I'll just do like this. I'm going to keep the Halfling up. They will be able to create a construct, and this will actually give them an additional construct, but it buys us time. We don't have any mass construct removal. Plow can't go to this. I think we just have to pass. So luckily we can block both of these creatures, either of them. Like they're not going to do any damage to Tamio. We're getting very close to being able to ultimate Tamio, and they may have to sack their Hexmage. I think what I'm going to do though, if we get a, I mean this is probably the window where we can minus and get prismatic ending back to take out one of these constructs, or maybe like brainstorm would actually be better. That is not a good attack. Don't do that, friend. Yeah, I think we regrow brainstorm with Tamio. All right, they opted to go ahead and get rid of her. That's fine. It's 1 for 1. I mean, we got a lot of clues out of her. I think we got at least one clue. Okay, Douthie, annoying card. I'm just going to plow it end step because I know I need to get rid of this card. There's like no doubt in my mind. Prismatic ending. Yeah, I mean, we could just end this. It's gonna end for 1 us anyway. Because they create a construct, they attack for 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it now. Because I don't want to have to lose my halfling in a fight. And I'm going to hold my other halfling. I don't think we're going to win by combat damage. I think we're going to win by getting them to submit after we've card advantaged them into the ground. Depths. So again, if they waste our Caracas, we'll be extremely vulnerable. They are going to be attacking with 2 likely 3/3s next turn. So it may make sense to go ahead and play out this halfling just to keep the Teferi around so we can minus it and draw a card. I think I'm going to do that. I'll hold this as a card that could be... Well, wait. Yeah, we've already used our Surveil land. I don't think it... If we brainstorm, we might need to put this back and get something more immediately useful. But I think we have more than enough mana for right now. We're just waiting for like an Uro or something to blow the game open. Okay, construct number 1. If they get the one that gives it like haste, that could be a problem. I will throw both of these halflings in front of Teferi just to be able to minus to get a draw. Because minusing will kill one of the constructs and it'll get me a card. That is Lava Spur Boots. They opted to go to combat without equipping. They made a mistake. They definitely should have equipped there. So I will be chumping here. I should have chumped with the one that can't tap. That was a misplay. Very minor. Hopefully it isn't of consequence. Okay, cracking the Verdant Catacombs. What do they have left? Another Hexmage. That does take out our Teferi before it can kill. Yep, that works. All right, we're living off the top of our deck. We could die to Construct beats. Ponder is a great rip when you're living off the top of your deck. Let's go find an Uro. We did find Uro. I think we just Uro here. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of these, less than excellent cards. Oh, wait, we can. So I'm just going to take the Uro here, and then I can fetch. Let's go ahead and, I'll just fetch now. It doesn't matter. Get a Tundra, we should get a Savannah probably, just to maximize green and white. We got blue, green. What could we draw? I don't think we're going to die here. I don't think we need to keep this as a chump. Next turn, Uro comes back and makes our life pretty miserable for our opponent. It's bigger than their constructs. I think we do go ahead and just cast this Ponder now. I'm trying to think of what it could be. It could be a plow. It is a plow. That's double plow. I love it. All right. I think we're going to be okay here. Because if they don't make it, if they try to equip the Lava Spur Boots, then we have Crocus for something else. The danger is that they wasteland. This is fine. I have to let this happen because they could equip the Dark Depths if they made it. So we're just going to take 7 here. Actually, we can plow one of them. And we have another plow coming. I think that's fine. Just be mana efficient. This reduces the amount of damage we take by 4. Okay, we're tapped out. But if they have like a fling type effect, there's something we can do. All right. So Uro comes back here. We've got a plow in hand. We're feeling very, very favored. Green, blue, green, and then I will go ahead and tap this for blue, just so we can keep that up. So we've got 2 points of interaction. Exile 1, 2, 3, 4. Uro comes in. We gain some life. We could put this in. I think it's fine just to have extra mana. This way, like, there could be a situation where we need to like Caracas him back to hand and then play him and escape him in the same turn cycle. We technically have enough mana to do that, but it would tap us off of Caracas. The rest of this game is about just not dying to depths. We don't really care about their construct plan or really anything they do. And that's it. This feels great. We haven't lost a game. Two very different types of matchups. One fair, one unfair. This deck feels great. Well, hopefully we won't get paired into like Eldrazi. That's the real nightmare. Round 3. We're up against Doomsday. Almost certainly this person has been tearing it up with Doomsday. Look at this. Tons of top 8s and other very, well, not tons of top 8s, but lots of really strong finishes in challenges. Their list is a turbo list. Have Lion's Eye Diamond. Not a lot of land. 16 land. This hand, which has 2 forces in it, is a snap keep in my mind. We also have Endurance, which may be relevant, like stopping them from winning. Narset is awesome. They probably don't have a way to attack it. Prismatic Ending can definitely go back. So this first turn is just going to be a Surveil. They're going to Thoughtseize us. Oh, they're going to Dark Ritual. Are they just going to go for it? Well, unfortunately for you, friend, I cannot countenance that. Okay. And they cycle the Street Wraith. Maybe going to like Hellbent right here just to try to fight off their Doomsday. Did they find the force? All right. That was a 2 for 2. They still have 4 cards in hand. We're not out of the woods. But that's one of the 4 Doomsdays in their deck. I think it's fine to go ahead and just play this Tamio. Yeah, I'm gonna Tamio here. We have another blue card. I don't think they're likely to send it again next turn. And if they do, they won't have Daze up because they could have dazed. I mean, they could, in theory, have already drawn their replacement and have the Daze and everything. But I think that's unlikely. With Endurance, almost certainly going to get pitch casted. I don't think white is super strong here. So I think, yeah, we do go Trop. And now we've got Tamio Flip, and that'll be pretty powerful because that'll represent a clock that they have to respect. I don't know that they have anything in their deck that stops Tamio. They're going to take our Brainstorm here. They have 1 Fatal Push in their deck. No bounce effects. So if we can flip Tamio, she will necessarily eventually win if we just keep plussing. They have to respect the Endurance though. I mean, they could take the Force. Okay. Are they going to go for it now? They are. Okay, can they win? So we're holding a lot of blank cardboard, basically. Other than if we draw a green card, then suddenly Endurance is on, and that might be okay. But they could always just force the Endurance. They're very low in resources. This is extremely aggressive, but Doomsday is one of those games, one of those decks where it does not get better the longer you wait. Your life is dropping. Your opponents are amassing resources. Yeah. They may have some sort of line where even with like Endurance putting their graveyard into their deck. Well, I'll stop speculating. Okay, so for those of you who are new to the Be Excellent channel, I've got this mnemonic, which is BCD FO, Buffalo Chicken Dip FOP. FOP is like a person who's overdressed for the occasion. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and check their pile because MTGO doesn't sort alphabetically, unfortunately. We have to manually check this. So they are passing. Let's take a look. So first is B, which is Brainstorm. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I see 3 Brainstorms, which means they probably have a Brainstorm in their pile. C is Cyclers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they built a slow pile. D is for Daze. They usually play 3 Dazes. I can cross-reference that. I don't see a single Daze here. Are they off days? They're off day. No, 3 Dazes? That's weird. Am I just missing it? Oh, it's because it's this weird art. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all 3 of the Dazes are in count of 4. Now we do F, which is Force. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interestingly, there's an Oracle in Exile as well, which tells me there are 2 Oracle strategy. F, and then O is for Oracle, 1. And then P is for Ponder. 1, 2, 3. So their pile seems, unless I'm missing a card, which is totally possible because MTGO won't let me sort. It seems that their pile includes 1 Brainstorm, 1 Ponder, probably a Thassa's Oracle or a Jace. Let's see if they play Jace. There's like a Jace you can play. No, I think And I think that what they're planning to do is just win slowly and not put cards in their graveyard. So maybe like play out lands and stuff. But I don't see a caverns here. So I do think they're planning to uncounterably win around Endurance. So we have a few turns. Okay, let's go to our turn. So if they're going to win around Endurance, they're probably going to be playing out land. So I don't think Wasteland is an effective strategy. We could try to waste lock them. I think it does make sense to try to regrow. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Okay, second Endurance. They are a pair. We can put back Prismatic Ending. We can put this back. This does allow us to actually cast Endurance, which is pretty powerful because we can beat them down potentially. So is it crazy for me to just want to like keep the Endurance and attack them to death? There's no way that it's correct to keep a land over keeping a Brainstorm here. All right, so we'll plus. All right. And I could be wrong. Maybe it was correct to keep it. They might just Thoughtseize us a bunch. Okay. They're Brainstorming. This is a card that goes into their graveyard. So once they're the magic 3 cards in their graveyard, then Endurance beats them. Did we establish they had a Force in their pile? I can't remember whether we did that. We said Brainstorm and Ponder, and we were correct about the Brainstorm. Force. Okay. Thoughtseize. I don't think they can win from here with 1 card. I think we let this happen. They may take the Brainstorm. We can find another green card. Okay, they took an Endurance, which tells me that they can't now they can't beat Endurance. So we're going to go Surveil here. We're going to try to find a green card. They could have like lots of Thoughtseizes. Plow is an easy bin. Uro is a green card. So we could regrow a Force. We regrow Force. We also have, I don't think we have time to win with Tamiya, so I'm going to just regrow a Force here. And then we're going to pass with Endurance. And now we can force like a discard effect. Consider. Okay. They're opting to pass here. This is a good time to clue. Wasteland would actually be good unless they're holding a land, because we could cut them off the second Underground Sea. And they probably have Caverns, but I don't know that they have a second land. So if we can find a Wasteland, that's good. Okay, so options. 1, we just chill. We don't cast Brainstorm because that does risk us. No, we have a green card. We have a blue card and a green card. It doesn't matter. I'm going to see if I can find a Wasteland. That's what I want to find. I'll go ahead and plus here. Okay, we did find the Wasteland. This is great. So, and we found a second blue card. So I'll just put back Loam. I'll put this back. We're going to waste them, and I think the game's over. We have Daze Protection, which I don't think matters. So this is how you defuse bombs. You just think about all the possible contingencies and make sure you have those covered. There's no way that they can get... Well, they could have Lotus Petal. Okay, they could have Lotus Petal in Cavern. That would be a way they could do it. Okay, they scoop. So we're so far undefeated in this league, playing, Uro and Endurance and stuff like that. I'm feeling good. This is like the proverbial boomer magic or Gen Xer magic. I'm a Gen Xer myself, 44. I don't think that generations mean jack. I just like to joke about it. Let's go to... I don't have a sideboard plan, but I can tell you against Turbo, like it definitely makes sense to bring these in. Consign stops the trigger. I think it's worth bringing in. Lavinia is worth bringing in. Harbinger does shut off Cavern and makes their mana a little more awkward. We have so many cards we can cut. I think we cut all these. Barragoyf is in their sideboard. They have 3 Barragoyf. But you know what? You can stop a Barragoyf with a Force as well. Shieldred. Maybe we don't want to take all these out. Let's think about it. I mean, Teferi deals with them as well. Life from the Loam, Wasteland. I don't think that works. They have lots of basics. I actually think we got extremely lucky wasting them where we did. I don't think that's going to come up. With the Teferi, can we afford to go out of down on plows? Take one more look. What else might they have? Okay, I don't see anything here that's relevant other than like maybe keeping a couple plows in. So if we kept the plows in, Jace is a great way to end the game if it comes to that. Halfling's a green card for Endurance, which would prove pretty crucial there. Yeah, I don't want to like board out my plows and then just die to Barragoyf. That would be so embarrassing. Maybe we don't bring in the Harbinger. I mean, the Harbinger, again, it does like provide really good. We take out one of the consigns. The only, consign's not great. It's just good against the Thassa's Oracle trigger itself. They don't play One Ring. Maybe we take out both of these. Yeah, it's really only good for the end. Yeah, I feel much more comfortable just keeping a few plows in. They have 4 threats. We have, if you include Teferi and like all the other ways we can answer, we have plenty of ways of stopping those. Oh, well, don't mind if I do. All right. Doomsday, you signed up for this life. I love Doomsday. I think it's a really cool high skill deck. Yeah, you can take a look at my 3/4 hand. Got the creature plan covered as well, although I definitely want to brainstorm that away. They'll take the force of will. It's a good exercise to like call out what your opponent is likely to do, because it just kind of checks your assumptions. They could have days here. I think it is conservative to not lose to a freaking days. I'm going to play like that. I'm not going to cast this ponder because if they Thoughtseize us, I want to make sure we can still force and negate a Doomsday. They probably play a ton of discard. Brainstorm's fine. I've learned so much over the years. Just like when I first started, I was like, brainstorm. It's like drawing 3 cards. We got to stop that. I used to like force cantrips hoping that they wouldn't like find a land and stuff like that. And over the years, I've just but sometimes you do force cantrips. And in fact, I forced 2 ponders in a row in one of the matches at the Legacy Challenge. Check that out. I think it's round 2. Maybe it was round 1, but it was like really, there were some serious fireworks flying. I'm going to keep my Daze Protection up, and I am going to just drop this, get this out of the way. Halfling, I don't think is part of the plan. It's a mana source, but we got tons of mana, and we don't have anywhere to go with it. I'm going to bin it. It'll be Uro food. And our opponent knows that we don't have endurance, so there's no point in like holding it, hoping to draw our 2 outer. Petal. Crack. They need to discard us. These Force of Negations are pretty bad cards. All right. They know what we're doing here. Okay, that worked. They may have another one. Wasting our land. Bold strategy, Cotton. I got plenty more land where that comes from. I'm like from the land of land. All right. Now that we have a card, I think I want to ponder here, and then I can choose what to keep. Uro wouldn't... Well, we don't want Uro yet. Oh, we could just have everything. My goodness. Okay, so I do want to play this Plains out. It seems greedy to shuffle away a force against Doomsday. But once we get to Teferi online... I don't want to wait to get to Teferi online is the thing. Yeah, Teferi is just going to minus immediately for nothing. But that's going to get us a card. And that's going to make it much harder for our opponent to stop us. Brainstorm. I might wait on Teferi because Teferi is so powerful. Getting him Daze would be really nasty. And one reason they might waste us is because they do have a Daze. So maybe we just wait and we draw through. So in which case, it was a mistake to stack the way I did. I should have stacked the Force higher up. They took the Force of Negation? Why? Why wouldn't you take the Force? Okay. So we're going to draw a Plains. But again, I'm going to be patient because they are... one card over there. And if that card is Daze, it would be extremely embarrassing to turn that on. If they have, they can't have Thoughtseize. Okay, there's the duress for the Force. But they don't know we're drawing another Force. They might take Teferi here. Just because it is dangerous. Okay, they did take Teferi. All right. And now we're drawing another Force and we're chilling. We've already used our Surveillant. We're just going to live off the top of our deck for a few turns while they live off the top of theirs. We have a lot of live top decks. Narset. If they keep Thoughtseizing us, it's really bad. All right. Well, we have to do that. Okay. That's 2 of these down. 2 to go. They do have Personal Tutor. They can go find it. Brainstorm to put away this plow is okay. I think I just want to chill. And then there's a possibility that I have 2 lands on top and they Thoughtseize me and I can just, dodge them completely. I do not think that they're playing, and they're going to be reluctant to play out like a Bargoyf here. They might try to do that. Another Doomsday. Well, if this resolves, we probably lose. They just got lucky and drew 3 Doomsdays naturally, which is lucky. They've looked at 44 cards. They've cantripped and stuff. I think we do need to go ahead and brainstorm and hope to hit a Force here. I don't think we win in a world where Doomsday resolves. Okay, we did not hit it. So we let this resolve. We Narset. Then we draw Consign. We don't want this ever. We don't want Consign to be visible right now. They're not going to win immediately. They have one card. Okay. So next turn, Narset comes down. That will cramp their style substantially. I don't believe there's like they can't like cycle in and do stuff. They're almost certainly going to put another Thoughtseize in their pile. They have tons of life to work with just to clear the path. We have to Narset into some form of interaction. These have been exciting games for sure. My opponent has made it very interesting. Nothing is assured. A skilled Doomsday pilot can beat anything. All right, BCD FOP. So brainstorm. Oh, they've got brainstorm in their deck. They're not going to like my Narset. And then we've got ponder. 1, 2, 3. Do they have a ponder in there too? Or am I miscounting? I'm miscounting. Surely. 1, 2, 3. They have a ponder in their deck as well. Their cyclers are... where's the other Street Wraith? They don't have Street Wraith. So I think there's a decent chance that they have a Street Wraith in their pile as well. At the bottom, do we see... We do not see the Cavern, so that's in their pile. They have Stifle. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. They didn't bring any creatures in against us, which is smart. Like they made our... Okay. So we're getting our turn, and it is going to be a glorious turn where we Narset. Oh, I should have counted the Thoughtseize, because I'm pretty sure they have Thoughtseize in there. That would be like crazy to not have Thoughtseize in there. 1, 2. They may have 2 Thoughtseizes. Yeah, interesting. So we ponder, brainstorm, 2 Thoughtseizes. I didn't check for force. I didn't actually, like I abandoned using my acronym because I'm undisciplined. You lack discipline. All right. I have seen the amateur and it is you. Okay, so that's a line from the classic video game Expect No Mercy. It's not a classic. Let's see. How many forces do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we can see all the dazes out. Wait, 2 dazes. They may have gone down a daze. Yeah, I'd be stunned if they have daze in their deck when I have this many lands. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to draw a Consign. I mean, it is possible that daze is in their hand. I don't think we gave them a window to daze. So I will go ahead and play this. I'll go fetch a Trop. Both of their wastelands are in the sideboard. Or in exile board. Blue. Narset. Feels good. We don't have Consign up, but I don't think that's going to be an issue this turn. It could be an issue next turn. We whiff. All those cards go on the bottom, though. They're not great cards. We have Hardcast Endurance now. Our opponent's just going to have to sit there for like 4 turns. They might have Consider, which they can cast at instant speed. I'm going to go ahead and do this first. Teferi feels pretty damn good. I think we put Teferi on the stack, and then we can ponder at instant speed. Or we can just draw. Well, we won't be able to... This ponder's not going to go into our hand. I think, yeah, Teferi. Assemble our Super Friends network. If we get Uro out, it actually does win, though. I'm going to get Teferi out. I'm going to trust that we can assemble a critical mass of stuff. Karakas as our land for turn. Okay, now we have, just Uro repeatedly if we want to. We have Consign with Kicker. They're going to take our Consign here. They're at 5, so they're dead to Uro. I'm going to play Uro. It'll take 2 turns, but if they have Brainstorm, they're going to have to draw through that, and we might be able to kill them. If they stacked it to where their creature is on top, they could just win next turn, sadly. Tamio. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and plus here. We're going to go blue, white, green, Uro. We'll see what we draw, and then we can decide whether we want to Uro back, but I don't think we do. I think we do want to hit them. Endurance. I think we actually put... we can hard cast Endurance next turn. Here's what I'm thinking. I know that we can kill them. We can actually Endurance, just value Endurance them to make them have to draw a bunch of extra cards. 2 extra cards. No, it puts it at the bottom of the deck so they can still win. I don't think that's correct. I think we let this go to the yard, and then we just hope that they don't kill us next turn. We could play out the Tamiyo, and we can always Karakas it back. If the Oracle is the last card in the pile, they may just go for it next turn. I think this is a situation where we want to go ahead and Karakas back. Having drawn that Endurance. They could still have days, so I'm just going to respect the fact that they could still have days. We think they have 2 Thoughtseize in their pile. So if they Thoughtseize us next turn, they can take the Endurance. Yeah, they're going to take the Endurance here. Oh, they can't take the Endurance. They can't take anything. We did it. Haven't did we? We haven't lost a game. We're doing great. Yeah. See you in round 4. All right. This hand, unknown opponent, round 3. I'm going to keep. It says turn 2 Teferi, which is a powerful wizard thing to do. Answers to a lot of stuff. All right, looks like they're on some sort of 12 post deck. We do have 2 Harbingers in our sideboard, which we were able to add when we cut red out of our deck and went down to a not absurd 2-color deck instead of a 3-color deck. Yeah, let's go get Trop and let's Halfling. I think that's going to be more impactful than getting Tamiyo out this early because it gives us fast Uro, which may be really relevant. Prismatic Ending is a good card. They often play cards like Disruptor Flute and stuff like that. All right, we're passing. Do they have the Planar Nexus? That will unlock a lot of abuse. The One Ring, lots of degenerate stuff can happen at 4 mana on turn 2. There it is. But they're passing. They must have K Command. And I know people get annoyed. Look, K Command's Kolaghan's Command. I'm sorry. It's 2025. Only James Q-Style plays Kolaghan's Command. When I say K Command, I mean Kozilek's Command, which is a much better card. In fact, you could say it's a broken card. It definitely breaks the color pie into little pieces. Let's see. Yeah, I mean Uro, and then we have a land. Then we have a potential Tamiyo. I think this is fine. Green, blue, Uro. I've been working on trying to play faster and be more decisive. Which I've played so many leagues. Like I have literally no excuse. You've seen them. You've seen how much Magic the Gathering this crazy man plays. This can go get a Surveil land. I think it's better to Tamiyo here than to get a Surveil land. We can hold that for later. We're pretty far from Uro coming back. I mean, you could argue that we do need to just get this in the yard to expedite arrival of Uro. Yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity to speed up the rate at which Uro arrives. Now we'll just go get a Tundra. I mean, we kind of need a second green source, but we can't Savannah and Tamiyo here. Okay, I'm gonna be decisive. I was just talking about being decisive. Okay, all right. What do you possibly have in your hand that costs more than 4? Because like 4 is like a huge amount of mana. To not spend 4 mana, once upon a time, that's the first spell of the game. It has to be a creature or a land though, so it can't be like a One Ring. But if they Sowing Mycospawn us, that's going to hurt. Hopefully that'll put a card in the graveyard for Uro at least. They found Karakas. Okay, Karakas is one of the best things you can be doing against our deck, unfortunately. All right, so I'm going to just start. I'm going to play my land. I'm going to go to combat and see if they Karakas here. Okay, they do. So it does give me priority back, and I can cast her again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Teferi. I don't think they're likely to counter here. I'm just trying to ask if I want to keep green up or blue or white up. I'll just do this. Oh, I tapped wrong, and now I'm paying the price clockwise. Okay, so white, blue, any color, Teferi. And I could definitely be playing an Endurance here, but I want to dig deeper into my deck. If I find a Brainstorm here, I can go ahead and flip a Tamio. Okay, I did find a Brainstorm. All right. So let's go ahead and just play her out with this legendary mana. And now let's Brainstorm. This is like the best she's going to get. Okay. So we can put back up Tamio. She's pretty bad now. Prismatic Ending probably won't be a part of this game. Tamio flips. We're to plus. We've got a lot going on next turn. We're still... no, with Endurance, with Fetch and Ponder, we can bring back an Uro. What is our opponent doing? They've cast a single spell. This is crazy. They are not like a... They must have just like the weirdest of draws. So we're going to redraw one of those cards. Yeah, it's the Prismatic Ending. Yeah, I think I stacked that wrong. Okay, so simple thing to do here. Minus to get a Brainstorm, but like we might actually be more likely to win off this. They may not have a way to deal with this. They may have Disruptor Flute, which we can end. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by plussing here. Then I'm going to go fetch a green source. Let's get the Savannah here. Now I'm going to ponder, and I can bring back Uro just for value, even though they're going to Crocus it back. Let's ponder first. These cards get shuffled. These are terrible. Second Prismatic Ending is not where we want to be. I do think it's correct, though, to just go ahead and Uro for value here. So we'll go blue. And I mean, I could be attacking them here. I don't think it matters. Blue, green, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting a card back in our hand, and we are drawing a card and potentially playing a land if we draw it. Like a Wasteland would be fantastic. Okay, I'll play that out. Okay, now, do we want to just play the Halfling just for material? We do have another Trop in the deck. I think it's fine. We've already got plenty of stuff that we want to put back. I could also, I'll do this, and I'll just play out the Halfling. I think Tamio is the way we win here. I just need to keep Disruptor Flute off the table. If we draw our entire deck, like all the mana in the world is not going to save them. They're just having bad draws, I think, hitting their fail rate. Because we should be totally one ring by now. And I'm not even scared of one ring anymore because Tamio is going to go off. I have Ugin. That represents a lot of mana here. They can go get Emrakul. They can cast Emrakul, bounce them. Okay, Sowing Mycospawn instead. Interesting. I think the time for Sowing Mycospawn has passed. They're going to go do it anyway. They're going to go get a land. They're not exiling our land. They're just using it to search. So they could go get another one of these. And they could go get Emrakul. We need a Wasteland pretty badly. I mean, Emrakul could beat Tamio Ultimate. We have 22 life. They need to do it several times in a row. Okay, they have a creature. Hope I'm not approaching this completely the wrong way. We have Uro plus escape this turn. Oh, we don't have the cards in our graveyard to escape. I'm going to start with this Ponder here. This here Ponder. Okay, Life from the Loam is great if we could find a Wasteland. I think it's probably too late, but actually, oh my goodness. We could Uro twice, dig through this. We could plow. I don't think that's good enough. Okay, plow this is a card in the yard. Double Uro. Loam just to get back a land. Fetch Surveil. I'm actually not sure that we can do all this stuff, but I'm going to try for it. Okay, so first things first, we'll plus here. We are going to plus here. I'm going to go blue, green, colorless, Uro. Dig a card deeper. Okay, it dies. It's very hard to beat this deck turn one. Because that dies. So we do need to loam back the land first. Blue, green, loam. Let's get that back. This actually shuffles that plow that we didn't want, which is kind of nice. I think we still have a forest in the deck that we can grab. Yeah. Blue, blue. Let's dig deeper. I think we have one turn to survive. If we find Wasteland, obviously that's the best draw in the deck because that takes out Planar Nexus. We got an Endurance. Okay. Yeah, they can attack our Tamio and keep her from ultimating. I didn't really think about that. I don't think it's the end of the world if they do that. Like, I think Emrakul The Aeon's Torn is probably the end of the world, though. They have it. They get another turn. They can just keep Karakusing and take as many turns as they want, so the game is over. Yeah, that was our first loss, but I feel like it was a near win, if that matters. The life total is like, judging by everything, like we were digging, I think, correctly for a Wasteland, and Wasteland would have just dramatically reduced their mana production. They could have had another one, but like they probably would have played it out by now. Okay, so this Lavinia definitely comes in here. She's very good. She doesn't stop Emrakul, but she stops at like large K commands and stuff like that. I think the Force Negations come in. Actually, I do have this in my sideboard guide. Consign to Memory definitely comes in. Okay, so let's take a look at the sideboard guide. 12 post. This doesn't add up correctly. We need to cut more stuff. I think we cut 2 endurances. That's probably what it was. Okay, and then Harbinger and Lavinia. I think Consign comes in too. Okay, and if we're doing that, I think Halfling is perfectly reasonable to cut because we're cutting endurance anyway. Halfling does accelerate, but it's not really about acceleration. It's about establishing control. But I do feel like these come out. I think Prismatic Ending stays in just because occasionally they'll play like, Candelabra of Tawnos, cards like that. That you do want to stop. Narset doesn't do a lot. Narset digs. So I think Narset's probably a decent cut. Teferi can bounce problematic permanents. But Disruptor Flute does have flash, so it just comes right back in. Interestingly, Force of Negation would have done nothing in that matchup. They didn't cast a single non-creature spell, I don't think, the entire game. Well, they cast the Once Upon a Time, which I would have forced, frankly. Okay, they're not going to come after our mana. We can take out a Savannah. Yeah, I think it's fine. We just draw the one of Narset. Jace is still good. Jace can very much like lock our opponent. Okay, so I'll just note the changes I made here in my sideboard guide. And by the time you look at that, that'll already be updated. All right, we have 16 minutes on the clock, which may not be enough, but we have the best card in our deck. Let's keep this. We'll just open with Tamiyo. I never have an issue opening with Tamiyo. I think she's great. We're going to lock ourselves off of other colors, but frankly, it shouldn't matter. Like Harbinger should be able to get the job done. You can't make the mistake of fetching too many basics early before you cast a Harbinger in a matchup like this. It really is a race to see who can get Harbinger, like to see whether they can break out before you can get Harbinger on the table. These forces are definitely weaker. They are not great at protecting Harbinger. So I'm going to go get the Trop. Now we've got all 3 colors. Tamiyo here, and we're going to start creating clues, and we're just going to hope to draw to land. Like, I wouldn't mulligan a hand that had this in it because it's by far like the best card in the matchup. Cloudpost. Okay, so they are playing Cloudpost in addition to the Mishra's or Urza's Towers. Another Force Negation is not what we're looking for here. I'm just going to attack, and I'll pass with the ability to potentially bounce this to hand. But, I'm definitely going to be cashing in a clue here, trying to find land number 3. In fact, even if they tried to exile her, I'd probably still go for the land. I think that's how powerful I think getting early Harbinger is. A lot of times your opponent will concede to Harbinger even without really thinking about like, okay, can they still win? And the answer is, yeah, we can still win. It's just that it takes a long time to win. It's like 20 or it's 10 Harbinger attacks. So we do have the luxury of being able to force this. They kept their hand with this in mind. I think I'm going to do it. This may seem aggressive. I'll just pitch a Force Negation here. We had an extra one. If they're playing cards like, okay, they have a Wasteland, which is pretty good. Are they going to waste us? Really? Well, I'll draw my card here. I mean, that might pay off. There's our Wasteland. I think one good waste deserves another when there's a Tamiyo out. Get a land. Can we get a land deck? I don't really mind if it's not. Okay, that's a freaking land. So we waste this. They are literally at nothing. If we don't waste this, they have 2 mana next turn. This does not help toward Harbinger. We already have what we need for Harbinger. I am going to waste this. All right, and then we'll just come in for a hug. Tamiyo is protected for the turn cycle. We're just getting a clue. Again, this is one of those situations I mentioned in a previous match. When you have a Tamiyo that's active and your opponent doesn't, that's a great time to waste. Tower. Okay. I stand by my decision to waste this, by the way, even though they didn't have like anything to do with it. Land number 3 would be great. Oh, Teferi is a blue card for Force Negation. I'm not going to complain about that. Let's come in for a hug. And we're going to be end step Clue Kraken. I think that's more impactful than getting a basic. Or, sorry, we're not going to be getting basics at all. In fact, I could have taken Basic Island out. I took out Savannah. I should have taken out Basic Island. I will update that here. All right. They have Forest. So cards that are concerning, obviously Sowing Myco Spawn is a huge ordeal if they manage to get it off next turn. We have to hope that we erase that. Sowing Myco Spawn is also big enough to block Harbinger forever. So what I'd probably like to do if we do get the Harbinger out is just double Clue Crack to get Tamio flipped and then draw, and then we draw our basics and then we win with those basics without ever ducking out of the Harbinger bubble. And I do think this is a trop here. Land number 3 does it. It doesn't necessarily stop because they probably have K command and other stuff, but it will definitely slow them down. Okay. So this Wasteland is best aimed at something consequential they're doing. Uro. I mean, Uro is probably worth doing here. We could also just Teferi. Teferi hits nothing. Is that better than wasting them? If they do have the Nexus next turn, they have potential to kick. We do want to hit. I think we just keep wasting them. I'm going to go ahead and go to combat first. We have Hardcast Force. No, we don't have Hardcast Force Negation up. I'm going to hit the tower. I will wait till their upkeep. That way, if they're going to crop rotate or something like that, we can counter it. And I do think that is a situation where you want to counter. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, it just works. That is fantastic for us. Clock is definitely an issue if we're going to try to win under Harbinger. Okay, let's draw a card. Force of Will is fantastic pickup. Come on, land. All right, let's go ahead and attack first, and then we can ponder for land. And we still have Clue Crack. We could flip Tamio this turn if we wanted to. Not sure that we want to, but again, that is contingent on us finding land. Life from the Loam would also be fantastic here. Okay, we found land. We got land like you wouldn't believe. Since we're going to actually win the following turn, does it make sense to, we can't grab a basic here. This ponder's fine. Just in case they have another wasteland, I guess we could keep the ponder on the bottom. Yeah, I'll just do it like this. We haven't used our surveil land yet. Oh, we're going to have to fetch away to crack the clue. I think that's fine, though. 12 minutes on the clock to win 2 games. This is going to be intense. I think forcing that card that we forced once upon a time, I think that was probably a pretty important play, judging by the fact that my opponent has had this extremely sclerotic opening. Blast Zone for 1. So this costs 3 to activate. So they can't blow up my Tamio. I am going to crack this clue. I know there's a land under it. We're going to go get a Tundra here. All right, we got land number 4. Okay, so this still doesn't get planes, which is the land I want to get. Okay, so I'm going to play this out. I can go get my forest here. I'll attack with Tamio first. And my opponent has to know that there's only one reason I would be doing what I'm doing. Getting a basic force when they've already got like a Yavimaya out. That's got to be like the ultimate, like, Metal Gear Solid exclamation point over your head. That I'm in danger at the back of the bus. Blue, blue, Harbinger. And I would have loved to cast these other cards, but they'll pitch the force, and we will eventually flip Tamio. Once Upon a Time is fine. I need to keep the force to protect Harbinger once she sticks. All right. They found an Urza's Tower, which is just another land that does nothing, basically. So now I'm going to force the negation, pitch to Teferi. Uro can actually be cast to draw a card and gain some life if we need to. Karn Silex, this has to be forced. This card is really freaking good. So we will pitch the uncastable Teferi here. We're going to Veil. Well, I'm going to pitch the Uro here, I think is probably the weaker of the 2 cards. Okay, and if they can find another one of those, we're in trouble because that blows up like our entire board. Okay, Force Negation is a great rip. I can go ahead and crack here. They're tapped out. I think it's fine. I'm going to flip her. Jace is a win con that we can use on. I forgot we had Jace in our deck. We might get a Jace kill here. That would be epic. All right. Yeah, Jace is definitely going to kill faster than Harbinger. I'm so glad that this is in play. Karn, I think we have to force this. They can go get like something that's in exile. They have another Veil. Brutal. Absolute blowout city. All right, we're going to have to stop, blow up whatever they get, and we're going to have to hope it's like a 2-drop or less. Oh, they're just going in on our clue. Okay. All right. So let's plus here. Did I forget to plus the last turn? I hope not. Okay, and then we can go ahead and play out this land. I'm going to go ahead and attack Karn. And we're going to play our Jace. And I'm going to just start Jace sealing my opponents, I think. Is that correct? I can't think of something we would draw that would stop Karn. My opponent said, we are in 2025, mate. I agree. Glimmer Post. Okay. Keep that. I've never done this on MTGO, I don't think. Yeah, it feels good. Okay. The blank are you doing? Yeah. I mean, you have one ring, but I've got my Mighty Jace that's a win con under Harbinger, assuming you don't remove my creature. They can go get Karn Silex. I did force a negation it. It's in exile. It's a very scary card. I can Prismatic End it if they don't blow it up immediately. It comes into play tapped. No, wait, I don't have the freaking mana. I don't have white mana. Gosh, I probably should have just regrown the force negation there. Yeah, I'm not feeling favored because this Karn resolved. I mean, the fact that they had double Veil was just absolutely backbreaking. Brutal tech. And they are gradually building up the lands they need to win anyway. So, they could freaking, do the thing with, what's it called? Once Upon a Time resolves. What's it, the thing? The Mycosynth Lattice. But if they minus to get Lattice, then I can kill Karn. So they have to keep plussing Karn, I think. Sowing Mycospawn. Sure. Okay. They're minusing. It kills everything. It is a Walking Ballista. They're going to use Walking Ballista to kill it. That sucks. Oh, well, my Jace didn't do a lot there, did he? All right. So I think at this point, we probably need a J-Storm. Yeah, we don't have blue. We can regrow Force. I think we have to J-Storm. If we can find basic planes, that answers this. Or we could just find a backup Harbinger, which is quite strong. It doesn't matter. We'll draw these in a little bit. I think we regrow Force of Negation here. See, it costs 4 to put a counter on that. I'm going to attack their Karn, and then they're probably just going to block. And then I'll just play the backup one. They'll probably block and ping. Okay. They can do one ping. They can't do both. Or actually they could, but if they want to kill Harbinger. Yeah, okay, great. Now, actually they can't do either. Okay, so we can go get our planes here. This is great, actually. They gave me like a little vacation. We'll get our planes. Now we're going to... are we going to buy back a Force? We're definitely going to play this out. What else can we get? We can get... I don't think it's worth getting more lands. We've got our colors. Let's go ahead and just regrow a Force of Negation. Or maybe we just plus here. We plus, and then we're closer to ultimating. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to think too hard. Blue, Harbinger, draw a card here. I'll target nothing. Draw my card, ponder. I'll ponder. I don't care. Just do. These cards are bad. They're not bad, but they're not great. Okay, and we drew a land. Okay, that's fine. Because now they have to kill this thing, and we're about to Tamio Ultimate. We don't really have a win con if they can remove this. Okay, yeah, they're dismembering it. Okay, so now they can do a lot of stuff. Again, we're going to draw a bunch of cards here. Oh, they could have just used the thing. Okay, they're going to search for a lot. Yeah, we could still lose. We lost both of our Harbingers. We need to find Wasteland and Life from the Loam if we want to be able to stop what they're trying to do here. Another Sowing Mycospawn. What did they get? These are being revealed, right? They could have just... Oh, Blast Zone. To kill our Tamio, okay. Yeah, I don't know that I'm actually winning this game. Okay. Yeah, and then they can just do the mana thing next turn. Okay. Bouncing doesn't seem like a good use of... Let's just draw real quick and see what we get. Lavinia and Consign. Okay, so we put this back. All Lavinia here. White, blue, Lavinia. And we'll plus here. Gosh, I don't think we're winning. We've got 6 minutes. Yeah, this is pretty bad. We have Consign to stop like one thing that they do. But they can eye and go get... they have enough mana that they can probably Emrakul us here. Probably get attacking Jace, both of them. Sadly, I think this is a chump. I want to keep Jace around for another turn cycle. I could have definitely Teferi'd and just bounced him out of play. We're looking for Uro as a win con. It's a very slow win con. Now they can just stop us from winning the game with Myco Spawn or Myco Synth Lattice, the other Myco card that's really annoying. Yeah, that's what they got. And I'll just consign this. And if they have the thing, it doesn't even matter. I'll cast a Replicate here. Okay. This just delays our death. I mean, watching this match, you could wonder, how did we ever get 3-0? Because it seems like the deck just doesn't have any means to fight back, really. Well, we are going to go ahead and fetch. We'll grab the Tundra here. All right. Loam does not... Oh, it gets us Wasteland. Green, blue, Loam. We'll get Wasteland, Tundra. That's a card we can actually use. We're going to waste the Eye of Ugin, I think. I should have done this first. Let's just do this now. Okay, there's Uro. I think we can win this game, but I don't think we're going to have time to win the other games. I'll just go like that, I guess. Let's go ahead and play Uro. Green, blue, colorless. And we can waste 2 things this turn. Okay. I don't want to have to do this Loam thing. We'll play that out. Okay, Uro dies. Hit the Eye. Hit the Nexus. We can ponder here. These don't do enough. Any order shuffle. I want the Loam. Quick, give me the Loam. Actually, like Loam might actually be reasonable at this point, but I just... Oh, I forgot to plus Teferi. I don't think it's going to matter. They can just take out both of these. We got 4 minutes on the clock. We have to win 2 games. I'm going to try. I'm not going to give up. Yeah, they should just take out both of our planeswalkers. Then we bring back Teferi, or we bring back Uro. We do have prismatic endings in our deck that we can use to attack. They can go get Ensnaring Bridge. They plus, and then they minus to go get Ensnaring Bridge. So that works. So this turn, we're going to bring back Uro, and we're going to... what is this? Is this another Sowing Myco Spawn? Oh, another Karn. Okay. Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, that's a pretty good card against us here. We do have more Uros that we're drawing to. Force doesn't do it. I'll plus here, and then I'm just going to go into Teferi just for the sake of speed. This one, we're going to minus this one. Target nothing. I don't want to give him another Sowing Myco Spawn trigger. Land. I'm going to concede. Yeah, I don't think we have time to win. It's frustrating to lose that way with like the Veils, but like that's what their deck does, and they were able to execute their game plan. I executed mine, and you could argue that like if I wasn't so time constrained, I would have probably Karakas the. I could have definitely Karakas the Uro back to hand. Karakas was up, and then had I had Karakas in hand, then I would have not had to worry about Crypt. They probably still would have gotten Crypt once they saw the Uro, but you know we could have. I don't know. It's hard to think about how that game could have gone. All I can say is I don't feel like I'm an S tier player yet. Like games like this makes me think like, what am I even doing? You know, and like it gives me hope that there's still so much room to grow as a player, because I do think that like in the hands of like Bosch and Roll or in the hands of some other like prominent wizard who slings Uros, that game would be winnable. All right, let's go to the final round. 2 other quick observations from the previous match. I think one, I should have immediately started Jace storming instead of plussing. Like I should have tried to make sure I locked up the game against potential contingencies like Dismember first. Second, as soon as I had access to my basic planes, I should have started minusing Tamiyo to recoup forces. I think both of those were key mistakes that could have changed the tide of the game. So we're up against King Dingaling. Best name on MTGO. They've been playing Depths. This is a great hand against Depths. No, it's not spectacular. It's pretty slow. I would rather keep a hand. Let's just take a look real quick. If they are on Depth still, they were on this like a month ago, or this was a year ago. I'm going to keep. This has Surveil. This has all our colors. We can play on basics if we want to. And, Double Teferi is kind of like a non-bow. And double, it's not technically what non-bow means. It's redundant is what I mean. We could interpret my opponent mulliganing as them being on some sort of unfair strategy. I can't remember. It feels like last time they were on goblins or something like that, which this hand is completely cold too. So the more I think about it, the more I think this probably was a mulligan, especially on the draw. Because we almost certainly want access to Prismatic Ending and Plow. Narset is unlikely to be good if they're not on blue. Narset has definitely been like one of the weakest cards in the deck. Teferi hasn't done a lot. I mean, Narset actually probably won us one of the games against Doomsday. Tamiyo is always kind of a house, but we might want to go down one Tamiyo and one Teferi and one Narset. Like, it's rare that I play this many. I'm just playing this many to justify playing for Delighted Halfling. I do think Delighted Halfling is an awesome card. It hasn't really shined in very many of the matchups we've been playing today because we've been playing non-blue, but here we go, blue. Hopefully blue. I would love for them to be on a blue deck with my hand. That is great. Okay, I feel better about this hand already. So we'll Surveil here, and then we'll do nothing, and then we'll eventually get a Teferi or a Narset out. Narset's pretty far away. If this is an Entomb, this is going to be forced. Otherworldly Gaze! So, the fact that we have Endurance makes me less prone to force this, but the conventional wisdom is you force anything you can force. They did mulligan. Maybe this is their only enabler. We did have a redundant Teferi, so it's a 1-for-1, essentially. That's be excellent logic right there. You can quote me on that. Just like my heuristic that 60% of the time it works every time. Careful study. So they did have the redundant one, but, they would probably be dredging here. Okay. Then we got the troll. So this might be a Pitchcast Endurance moment. We are going to Surveil, though. I don't think they're going to accost our mana at all. That is not necessary. I mean, it does help us play Narset, but Narset is good, but we need a green card just in case we need to emergency pitch. Teferi's so good, maybe we do allow them to draw and dredge. Because, force. I feel better about. I don't want to give them Endurance vibes. I'm going to play out this land. Then hopefully they'll think that Endurance is my sideboard card. I think sticking Narset actually is really terrible if they're dredging because they just can replace the excess draws. Okay, let's take a look at their sideboard here. Let's make it nice and big. Is there a way to make it big? No. There's not a way to make it big. We can do this, but then it takes up the entire screen. Or we can do this. Check this out. I made that little sound effect there. My kids love it when I make sound effects. Okay, so Cephalid Coliseum is pretty awesome because they go to Coliseum and we can just Endurance in response, and then they have no dredgers, and they're just discarding a bunch of cards from hand. And I don't think they play maindeck Force. All right, we're going to play Chicken here. They didn't rip. Oh, what are they going to do? They can Otherworldly Gaze too, instep. I think that's a possibility. Now they're going to be wondering, okay, why aren't they doing anything? Is it correct? Let's think about this for a second. I have never played with Endurance in my deck against this deck, but I do feel pretty confident that it's correct to let them do whatever they're going to do, and then we Endurance. Especially considering that we have Force. They may be able to get... Okay. So I think we have to let Poxwalker resolve. We could force this. They'll still get the Poxwalker. We could force this. They do have Coliseum. No, Coliseum won't be online. If we just Endurance now, they don't get the Poxwalkers. but they do get the cards in their graveyard. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to force pitching Teferi, hoping that Narset is useful. And then I can endurance, and they have nothing. And I think it's important that they have nothing, even though I have an endurance, because they might have like yeah, I'm not certain that I'm correct here. I do think Narset will be good if we find a blue. Well, we can Halfling next turn, and then Narset comes out. I think she'll be better than Teferi. We could just let this resolve, and then Poxwalkers, they don't have anything in their graveyard. They have a bridge from below, but they don't have any way to flash back. And then what we could do is we don't force, we let this resolve, then they get their Poxwalkers, and then we could just Teferi the Poxwalker back to hand. How much does Poxwalkers cost to cast? I've never even seen anybody cast it. It's a 3 mana. They could cast it. It is death touchy. I mean, it does stop what we're trying to do. I think I force here, and then I just go ahead and endurance them. And this should put them pretty far back. And then we can move this back because they don't have a graveyard anymore. So Poxwalkers fizzles. All right. Okay. Poxwalkers comes in. They have like another engine card, like another glimpse, or another. Okay, Uro. Uro is good. Uro is really nice because it does. I think it's a higher priority that we just get a Halfling out, and if they want to trade in combat, I will take that trade. I don't want to attack them. Actually, I don't really care about my life total. They are tapping to do damage to themselves. If this goes in the graveyard, I think it's fine. I'm going to start swinging. Okay, and they have to go ahead and trade there. That's fine. I don't think that was a misplay, but that could have been a misplay. They do have a card in their graveyard toward Cephalid Coliseum now, but we would be taking 3, and we'd also have to worry about Narset getting harassed. Satoru is fine. This is a menace creature. Plow would be great. Wasteland them off black seems okay. I think what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to... I think getting Uro into going is more important. We do have... We're one land away from bringing Uro back. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to tap like this because if I can get rid of Satoru, I do want to get rid of him. Okay, and this... I think it's better to waste them off black. I know it puts a card in their graveyard, but it does stop them from casting certain things out of hand. And next turn we can bring that back. Oh, we can play this now. It doesn't change anything. Okay. Next turn we'll have Uro back. And we just need to erase them before they get their graveyard filled up. So every turn that they draw a potential, Faithless Looting or something like that is scary time. Once we have Uro back, then we Narset. Oh no, don't have it. Don't have it. Oh no. They're going to be able to go off. I threw this somehow. I screwed up somehow. Like, somebody leave a comment with a timestamp exactly where this went wrong. But I feel pretty confident things have gone very wrong here. They're going to flash this back. Okay. So they get a card off of this, so they start to dredge. LEDs. Next turn they have Coliseum. Otherworldly. Oh man, they've got dredgers, everything. They've got everything they need. The game is basically over. Oh, they got a Narcomoeba, so they get a dredge. Okay, so we just lose. Now they can therapy and get back a card. Yeah, this is how you lose the game, basically. Sadly. What did I do wrong? Well, I don't think I did anything wrong with the Narset play. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe this is just like what is destined to happen. We wasted too late because that's when we got the access to the waste. I'm just going to F6 here. I'm not going to do anything here. I would have interacted a long time ago. We're going to see the glory, the beauty that is this deck just going completely bonkers, completely off. Look at this. They had so little resources, and now they're going to draw their entire deck. 16 cards left. We're going to die this turn. They've got hasty beats, so we'll probably die to combat damage. They can see our hand. I'm not worried about showing them Narset. Narset's probably getting boarded out. It's not a good card against them. I don't actually know that that's the case. Yeah, there's no reason to keep playing this game. It's over. All right. We just saw Thassa's Oracle here. Double Bridge from Below. Yeah, we can't beat all that. We don't have a sweeper. And never... I mean, you can make your opponent go off. Like, sometimes it makes sense when you're up against, like, breakfast and stuff. Lavinia is good. Lavinia, Ground Seals. And I think Hydroblast can come in. They do have some red cards in their deck. Force Negation. I do think Harbinger's fine to potentially lock them all colors. This is a lot of cards we're boarding in. But we can board out all our spot removal. These cards suck against them. We can, as I said, Narset's pretty bad. She doesn't really address the fundamental problem that our opponent doesn't care about drawing cards. Because they always have, like, they almost always have a replacement effect in their deck, like mid game. We can take out the basic island because we're gonna try to Harbinger. Harbinger, they are a 3-color deck, and Harbinger does shut off their Colosseums, so not terrible. Wasteland Recursion is a not a great strategy, but I think it's worth keeping in. It's also a green card for Endurance. We have tons of blue cards. I think this is fine. Teferi's not the greatest. We could cut that, but then we're really like, what are we even keeping Halfling in for other than just being a card we can use to pitch cast Endurance? Yeah, I think we do it like this. Again, Narset can dig for like hate pieces, but like you're so late in the game by the time Narset's online, and you almost always have something better to do, like cast an Uro. Like Uro, had we had an extra turn to get Uro back in play, that would have been consequential. It wouldn't have necessarily won us the game. This hand is a turn 2 Uro, which does wipe their cards. I mean, again, this is playing on like a fair axis. Turn 2 Uro with lots of land in play and pondering to try to find Endurance. I think this is okay. I'm not going to aggressively mulligan because we don't have like the strongest anti-graveyard hate pieces. We're not playing Grafdigger's Cage because it interferes with the Uro. They're mulling to 5 cards, so they're mulling 4 cards. They're mulling very aggressively. So I think Turbo Uro is, we just trust in Turbo Uro getting us the value. I'm not going to fetch basics. I'll get Trop here. And based on like the composition of our hand, I don't think I get basics, and I think I just plan to pitch Harbinger. She's not like a main plan, but she's a good card. Okay, they don't have a turn 1 play. It's probably like, okay. Often during your upkeep, they'll do the thing, but so we do have the Harbinger. I guess the question is, does turn 2 Harbinger, is that good enough? Because we could go get a Plains here, and then we can attack for 3 repeatedly. Locks them off non-blue colors. They can win with nothing but blue. No, we would only have access to blue. We'd have to win with exactly what's on the table right now. They don't necessarily need their mana to win. So my thinking is that it would be a mistake to go for Harbinger. Let's take a look at like a typical Dredge list. So almost everybody's doing like the Mahfouz Van Gogh, very chill human being, whom I've played against a lot. And we can go down here to Dredge, which is under combo, probably like very low. Oh, there, 5.5%. Okay. Let's just take a look at this challenge list. So pretty similar to what they're likely playing. We didn't see Ox. Which unlock? Oh, this dude is super chill. I didn't play against him, but he top 8'd the event that I top 8'd as well a couple weekends ago. He's playing like the really old school one. Where's the actual list that has Centaur? Okay, there we go. I think this is what they're probably on. So we take them off everything but Otherworldly Gaze and Careful Study. They only play 1 Careful Study. Okay, so I think that it might actually be worth doing this. There is a risk that they have like Lion's Eye Diamond, but this does shut down. And I don't think they have a way to kill it. We still have access to our Planeswalkers. We still have access to all our cantrips. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Call me crazy. And of course, we can't fetch any basics here, sadly, because we need double blue, and Halfling can't help us with that. Blue, blue, Harbinger. All right. We are playing a very dangerous game here. LED, and it's lights out. Okay, you've got double blue. Teferi, I think that's worth playing. Is it? The other option is we could ponder for force. Kind of like doing that and just hitting him for an extra damage here. Force of Negation, very much worth putting into the grip. It's not as good as Force of Will. Now we can just attack and we can Brainstorm in case of emergency. Yeah, I may actually just Brainstorm in their end step to get deeper into my deck. Because we've got a lot of bad cards we have to get by. But I think the name of the game is beat them as fast as we can with what we have. Blue in the pool. Please be like not the I think it's the breakthrough. Yeah. I don't want them to put cards in their graveyard. I am going to pitch this. What do I pitch? Uro does potentially get rid of Bridge. I think that's rationale for keeping it. I think we pitch Ponder here. That was a pretty important play. I'm very happy with myself that I went and got the Force Negation, and I kind of think we should do it again just in case they have a follow-up. Let's go ahead and Ponder again. Can we find another Force? We did. Okay, so we're going to take this. I should have stacked differently. I don't want a second Harbinger. It is something I can cast, though. I'm just going to attack for 3 here. I think it's fine to play out the Tamio, just as like clues, help us dig to more forces. I don't think Uro is going to matter that much. I will pitch him this time. I'll keep Teferi around, just in case they have some sort of permanent that is worth bouncing. I mean, Halfling does increase or Harbinger does increase our clock by 1 permanently. I think it's actually worth playing out the second Harbinger. I know that may sound crazy, but then we're doing, let's see, it will speed it up ever so slightly. It's like a 3-turn clock now instead of a, I need to undo that. Yeah, because when you tap for color, it can only be used for a legendary. So I'll tap for colorless. 3-color deck being shut down by one of the best cards in Modern Horizons 3. Okay, so yeah, I said that we got them down to a 2-turn clock, but we did not. I'm just going to attack with everything. Pass. Hold up. Lots of interaction. They are going to get low in life, which could be of consequence. Careful Study is going to get Force of Negated. We will pitch Teferi here. I still think Uro could be critical in terms of getting rid of like a bridge that somehow gets in there. I don't know. Teferi doesn't seem like it is going to do anything for us. All right, we'll draw. Okay, Caracas doesn't do anything. Force of Negation. I'm just going to attack with everything. I mean, I could Uro here. I think it's fine to Uro, just to get deeper into my deck. We still have a blue up for Brainstorm. Into the Flood Maw. Turn target creature. They don't have to give to fish. They're just bouncing this. I think this is fine. It does not actually change the clock because I can just play it back out. And then I've got 5 power on the table. Harbinger's back. Okay. And I think we've now won unless they want to into the Flood Maw again to kind of mini time walk. We drew a Force. All right. Yeah, that felt pretty good. Like, I'm glad I took the Harbinger route. I'd love to see what was in their hand. Yeah. I presume they're not going to show me the hand mid-game, but... Okay, that game was all dredgers, is what my opponent said. So, countering, breakthrough, doing all that stuff was pretty vital. I think our strategy doesn't change. They brought it into the Flood Maw. I think that's like... Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we have so many turn 0 interaction spells. I don't know that... All right, so we're going to run it back. Again, Jace, endgame, this might be good. There's a world where Narset is okay if, let's see, in that situation, no, because I do nothing relevant. I was tempted to bounce the Halfling to tie you down more. Okay. So I think they said they were tempted to bounce my Halfling, which would have, slowed me down a little bit. But I think every single spell I cast there was basically blue. And I just force pitched everything else. This is a great hand. It has the ability to dig so we can counter 2 things. We can ponder to try to find land number 2. If we find a Halfling off land number 2, that's good. So I said this is a great hand. This stops 2 of their payoff spells, basically. That is one we're going to force. We'll force with the lesser of the 2 forces. And I think the card that gets pitched here is Teferi. Okay. And they're not going to do anything yet. Upkeep. Okay, great. And we can even halfling here, which is great. So let's go ahead and halfling. Then we've got turn 3 Uro into potentially like returning Uro. Okay, and this is the otherworldly gaze. I think we do have to force this. I'm going to pitch the Ponder because Uro is a good card. All right, and like the conventional wisdom against Dredge is you force whatever you can. Okay, they have another one. They're going to have double otherworldly gaze in their graveyard if they have a land to follow up. Okay, they did find a troll. They found a therapy. They do have a land. Now they can dredge if they have something good. And we may just be doomed. Yeah, we're doomed. Faithless Looting. This is insane. The only card that saves us at this point is Endurance, and we'd have to pitch cast it. We have to Endurance them. Yeah, they have a bridge. Okay, the good news is we take out the bridge here. Force of Negation is a good draw. I don't think it's good enough. So they are going to be able to, cantrip. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And it's not worth waiting around to force negations thing. We'll just hope to draw a blue card here. And I'd much rather just draw like an Endurance for later. Okay, Harbinger. I'm not going to put that into the battlefield. I can't put it into the battlefield. Bridge dies. We gain some life. We have Force Negation. Harbinger is too late to the party. I think it's almost certainly just a pitch to Force Negation here. If they have like some crazy card that they're going to cast. Okay, this is a Force Negation. It just further cements our defeat if it resolves. Okay, and they don't have a second play, but they did Dredge, and they do have Poxwalkers, Cabal Therapy. They're just waiting to find a creature. Endurance would be a huge draw here, but we can't use it immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm aggressively. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Ground Seal, which is not a fantastic card, but it is something that can interact. Teferi is not great here. I have to put everything back except for the fetch, and then we can surveil. Yeah, Teferi's too slow. It doesn't really address the table. We do have Uro coming back next turn, so I'm going to surveil. I am going to attack. There's no harm in attacking for one here because we're like locked into surveilling, and we're just going to see how dead we are. The good news is like there's nothing in our hand that they can therapy. Okay, so their graveyard is stacked, and this is Breakthrough, Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, getting 3 Poxwalkers back, and now they can therapy. They don't have they don't have anything in their yard that really does a lot, but they do have like a pretty aggressive plan here to kill us. They still have 2 Otherworldly Gazes. Drawing an Endurance, we could still survive. Double Dread Return in the yard. Can they bring back something that wins? I don't think they can. If they use Dread Return, they immediately get these back. So the question is, what would they bring back? Like a Stinkweed Amp or a Golgari Grave Troll would be reasonably large. They are therapying themselves. Naming. It resolves. Naming. Troll. Probably. Yeah, so they put those in. They've got a Narcomoeba in hand. They've got so many creatures in their graveyard, I think it does make sense to just... Okay, and they can name the... I don't think it makes sense for them to name the Narcomoeba. I don't know why. Maybe it does contribute to Golgari Grave Troll being a little bit bigger if they want to Dread Return it. And again, I think it is correct for them to go ahead and Dread Return just to get a big creature. It won't be huge, but it'll be like a 6/6, 7/7 maybe. It's a 9/9. Okay, I was wrong. That's pretty damn big. Okay, so we're gonna get aggro beats. Killed by aggro beats. Oh, they're gonna get double 9/9s. Oh, the 8/8 rather. Okay, so we're not done on board, but I don't know how we get out of this now. Endurance doesn't do it anymore. They still have a strong dredge plan. That's not how we get out. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring back Uro. And we're just going to have to hope that we don't have any spot removal on our deck. Yeah, I don't think we actually have any way to deal with these. We may be able to like bounce them to hand over the course of a long game, but I think we're super dead and we're just going through the motions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Uro's back. Uro is going to... I mean, we're actually dead on board. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. Like, there's nothing we can do to stop this. Great games, though. So that is a 3-2. I'm not embarrassed at all by our performance in the last round, but I am not happy with how the 12-post match went. This said, I don't know what to change. I do think that Narset is not a 3 of, and I do think that Teferi is not a 3 of. It felt like we were drawing those way too often. And that just like, I mean, that just makes me think like, okay, like what is Halfling doing in our deck if the best thing we can do is Jace the Mind Sculptor, which in 2025 is not that powerful, frankly. I mean, like it's hard to imagine. Okay, so this is probably what I would do if I didn't dislike One Ring a whole lot. If somebody wants to loan me 4 One Rings, we could actually try this. But here's what I would do. I would just add 4 One Ring to this deck, and then suddenly it's like 100% better, 200% better, right? Like Narset is just not that strong against the meta right now. Like very few people care about it. It's only a few fair decks care about it, and frankly, like shutting off 8 cantrips in an opponent's deck does not make it worth playing. A 3 mana planeswalker that you have to defend. So what I would probably do is just add a bunch of One Rings, and then the question is like, okay, if you're adding a bunch of One Rings, why not go bigger? Why not, be like a giant beanstalk deck? Like Anzi D, let's take a look at his deck. This is what he plays when he plays Legacy. He plays like this extremely greedy list. Here's his most recent list on Moxfield if he's got him there. He's been playing Sneak and Show. He hasn't even been playing his Greed Pile. Content creator should have. Okay, so this is a Legacy deck. Okay, let's take a look at this deck. So he's playing 1 Murktide, 1 Flage, which I think is unplayable in Legacy personally. 2 Uros. And again, I don't want to like, oh, he's dumb for playing Flage. No, that is not a card that I think is castable regularly. I could be wrong, but I just don't think it's a good card. I mean, Uro is so much better. It's like 100 times better than Flage. He's got a 4th. And this is the Yorion Greed Pile, by the way. Just ugly white border Yorion there. Okay, and then he's got the 4 Lorians, 4 Ponders, 4 Prismatic, and of course... Oh, wait. Is he not playing? He's not playing One Ring. But of course, he's not playing Halfling either. And Halfling, I think, is the whole reason why Bant is playable. Like, Halfling gave us so much explosiveness and sped up our deck. Like, you can't just be waiting around. Like, Jeskai, I know they just wait around until turn 3, and then they start doing stuff. Like, the game is often functionally over by the time you've gotten to turn 3. But if you look there, he's playing, like, 2 maindeck Veils. He's playing 2 maindeck Consign, which I can't get behind. Brain Surge is awesome. I love Brain Surge. He's playing Terminus, so maybe Brain Surge is reasonable. I've tried playing Brain Surge lists that play Terminus, and of course, like you into Bowmasters. But Bowmasters is actually kind of at a nadir right now. Like there aren't that many Bowmaster decks because it's really only good in blue-black tempo. Like a lot of the Reanimator decks maybe play 2 in their sideboard. That's what I lost to in the quarterfinals of that 2K. I lost to a Bowmaster that I didn't expect my opponent to have in their blue-black Reanimator deck. So double Veil main deck. This is sus in my opinion. Like I don't like playing sideboard cards in the main deck. I think having Force Negation is about as close as I'll go to playing sideboard cards in the main deck. He's got 4 Ground Seals. I mean, this could be fun. I do like Ground Seal. The problem is it takes forever to win with Uro as your main win con. So, okay, I think I have every single card necessary to play this deck. I'm going to build this. Hang on one sec. Okay, so here's the list. I said I'm going to build this. I just exported it from Moxfield. Not sponsored, but like Moxfield, if you want to sponsor me, reach out. Like that's actually a product I believe in and I use all the time. Let's go over here to take a look at the list. So, you know, like if we take out the main deck Veils, and again, like this is going to be like, oh, you're performing surgery. Like this is like a bull in a china shop, basically, like taken out like without necessarily understanding his reasoning behind putting these cards in. So first of all, I can see why Thundering Falls is the Surveillant, because you don't necessarily actually we have all these cards. I just need to get another Brain Surge, which costs like 1 penny basically, and then I need to go get another Terminus, which also costs like a penny. So yeah, we could actually play this. I love Terminus as a card. Terminus would have been great in that matchup at the end against Dredge. I can understand why he doesn't have... so we add an Uro for sure. In fact, I would go so far as to say we have 4 Uros, because Uro is freaking phenomenal. We could have a second Murktide. And then we've got more win cons, which is a problem with these types of decks. You often run out of win cons. I do like the idea of playing 2 Wastelands just in case you run into... Like, you don't have to play Loam like I was playing. And I would argue Loam is a beautiful card and it saved us. But it's like so slow clockwise that against 12 posts, like if I had unlimited time, I would 100% have just kept loaming. But it takes so much time off your clock to loam. And every time you draw, you have to decline it. I just think it's very painful to play loam on MTGO. So I can see why he omitted that. Brain Surge is much better than Stock Up, in my opinion. When did he play this? Was this before Stock Up was printed? Last updated 5 months ago. Okay. So Stock Up might be the better card, but Brain Surge is perfect for Terminus. And if you're playing like Miracle cards, why not? He's got a whopping 3 Harbinger of the Sea in here, 2 more consigns. 3 Harbinger of the Sea in your 5-color deck, essentially 4-color. Plus the cheaty black source, the Triumph. Yeah. I do like the 4 ground seal though. I can get behind that for sure. That card is really strong in terms of preventing you from losing your Uro to like a surgical or a ghost vacuum or something like that. Ghost vacuum doesn't feel like the right card here if you're going to be playing 4 ground seal because it does stop you from being able to ground seal. But Anzadi may have made the calculation that it's worth it anyway. I would definitely jam Endurance in here. If you look, they've got 12 green cards. Maybe Endurance doesn't make sense here in an 80 card deck. They've got 2 planes and 2 islands, which I think is extreme in a 4-color deck. Like I would probably cut like one of these planes, and then I need to like assess the entire mana base basically. But it looks like they should be playing all like 12 fetches. 2 surveillance, 3 surveillance. Damn, that's a big commitment to surveillance. I don't feel comfortable with like 5 ETB tap lands in my deck. I feel like that's too many. 4th is a great way to win the game, but it's not a great card in the land of Bowmasters. I personally would cut this and just play more Murktides as my win cons. And that is kind of like Murktide is so strong at the ending of the game though. And they're playing 4 endings and 2 Terminus. I would probably go down to 3 endings. I can't see it being that good. Some more real-time brewing. I do like Veil, but again, I don't think it's a main deck card. We could add an extra one. This is good against like blue decks, but we also have Pyroblast, which is also good against blue decks. I think the reason he's playing Harbinger is precisely what we ran into. Like in certain matchups, Harbinger is the only thing you can be doing to stop your 12-post opponent from eventually winning, or stop Eldrazi from eventually winning, because it does shut off Ayavugan. How many cards does he have that trigger? Oh, I think we do need 2 additional Force Negations in the sideboard. That I feel like Force Negation is so much better than Veil. He's got 2 Carpets, which, granted how much mana you're spending, that may make sense. 29 lands. 29 lands is about the same as the 20 lands I'm playing, or it's a slightly more. If we get rid of the second island, I think that's fine. Now we're at 28 lands. We have plenty of fetchable sources. Anzi is a big advocate of having Taiga in your deck. Okay, so hear me out. We just take the red out completely. I think that is fine. We have Veil, which is practically, red Pyroblast these days. I need to buy another Veil. That actually costs a lot of money. It's like $4 card. So maybe we don't need that Veil because I'm a cheapskate. And we've simplified the mana base. And again, I just played a league where simplifying the mana base, I think, dramatically improved the construction of the deck. Just having it be 3 colors and having the Xander's Lounge specifically to help you with Leyline Binding. That allows us to potentially go up to 3 Wastelands and to throw... I don't want to put Life from the Loam in there just for the reasons I mentioned earlier. And also, Life from the Loam with Ground Seal as a Nombo. We're veering very close to dangerous territory in terms of like our opponent casts... Oh, I mean, we have 4 Leyline Binding, so we don't really need to worry about Leyline of the Void. But like, yeah, I mean, I'd probably just go up to 4 of these. It's such a good card. It's such a cracked Magic card. And then can we even win, though, against a Blood Moon if that were to happen? We might actually want to play the second island here. I don't think we need the second plains. It's really only good for Hardcast Terminus. And then we have 3 slots left. We only have 26 lands. I do think we need to add some lands here. Okay, now we're back up to 28 lands, which I think is reasonable. Let's check the hypergeometric math. Okay, so we'll get a land 28% of the time, or 95% of the time, 96. If we go up to 29, it's not going to dramatically move the number. I mean, it's an additional 0.6%, which is not terrible. Let's take a look. And then let's say hypothetically, we did, his build originally had, but he's got Lorien Revealed in here, right? Yeah, Lorien Revealed. So that counts too as a land. So yeah, I feel like that's plenty. Granted, we can't, like, we need at least a land. Does he have Karakas in here? I feel like Karakas definitely belongs. Karakas is solid. He needs freaking Tamio. That's what he's missing. Why aren't there Tamios in this deck? Tamio is great when you have Brain Surge and everything. So I think Tamio comes in, at least like 3 of them. I mean, I understand you're like terminusing, but by the time you terminus, a lot of times Tamio's out of the way and she's a planeswalker, or she's generated a bunch of clues. So we do that. So he originally had 29 lands and 80 cards. Let's take a look at the math on the likelihood of drawing there. So this is a 96% for 29. Now if we drop down to 60 and we say we have 20 lands. So this is actually a better, 29 is actually better than 20. It's closer to 21 in the 60 card deck. Yeah, it's even better than 21. So I don't think we need that many is what I'm saying. So this could be the form of us like cutting. I don't think we cut a Surveil land. We could just cut one of these Tarns or something. Then we're down to 28. Then we've got 2 more cuts. A Consign does not belong in the main deck right now. So that's an easy cut. And I don't even think we need that many Consigns. I think this can very much be like the 3 Consigns. He goes all the way up to 4 Terminus, which is a lot of Terminus. But it does cantrip off of Up the Beanstalk, and it is a really good card to draw. I mean, my instinct is to cut one. Oh, he doesn't have a Hydroblast. That's the card he needs. So I think we add a couple Hydroblasts. I can see staying on 2 carpets. But I don't know that we... I think 2 Hydroblasts is fine, and then we go down to 2 Consigns. So we do a 2-2 split. Then we get we've got everything. Yeah, so I just need to go buy a Brain Surge, and we can play this. And I think I have a pretty light work day. I could actually maybe do a league like this right now and record it, and you may see me playing this tomorrow. However, I just have to say, it can be absolutely miserable. But I think Murktide is going to speed it up. But like, there can absolutely be like a lot of games where it's just like you're waiting around for so long, or they get a Bowmasters and it just feels like unwinnable. They don't have Teferi in here, which I think is fine, actually. I don't think Teferi's that cracked of a card right now. We might be able to go down an Uro and bring in a Teferi. So I'm going to do a couple quick checks. So first, what I always do when I'm brewing, sort by color, and then I just make sure I've got a lot of blue cards. And I think I do, but I just want to be sure. Okay. So we've got 31 blue cards, which is quite healthy. And if this becomes a Teferi, it doesn't affect that. It's possible that this 3 Ground Seal is overkill. This was when like Scam was everywhere. If we drop down a 3 Ground Seal, then we could put back this Prismatic Ending. I think that's important because we don't care about our green count, but we do want to be able to reliably kill Orcish Bowmasters, Chalice, things like that. We've got so much White Exile-based removal, and it's so dead in so many matchups. I think we don't do that. That does give us a slot to play with. I feel very strongly that 4 Murktide is good because there are lots of situations where, okay, I've established control. I need a win real quick. Murktide. And we are going to fill up our graveyard quite quickly with this deck. There's Malevolent Rumble, which is a pretty cool card. What if we were to change these Ground Seals for Rumbles? We don't have any graveyard hate at that point, but... Okay, so hear me out. Malevolent Rumble. I have to go buy some. But let's say hypothetically they're in here. That it does ramp and it helps. Let's see, how many permanents do we have? Sort by we can't sort by permanent type, but let's just manually do it. So the number of permanents in the deck, there's 12. It's not very Leyline, Tamio. That's 19. That's not a guarantee, but you also hit lands, right? So Malevolent Rumble, the colorless mana is good. It fills up our yard for Uro. Yeah. I think there's no way that Malevolent Rumble is not better than the other card, the Ground Seal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Ground Seal on the sideboard because I do think it's good. I think we'll have 12 green cards in the deck, so we could probably put an Endurance in here. Endurance is good. Okay, and then we need to make 2 cuts. My instinct would be to cut one of the Harbingers because we do have like a Turbo Pedal in Murktide. I don't think we need 3. I've often thought like I need 3, but I actually very rarely actually play 3. I think we could cut this Terminus. We can cut a Brain Surge. Now we do have lots of ways of putting a Terminus on top. We still have 5 cantrips that do that. I'm kind of tempted to put an Endurance in the main deck. And then we could put a second Ground Seal on the sideboard. Again, it does not negatively impact our deck at all, other than stopping us from like Tamio minusing. All right, I'm going to go buy some Rumbles. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got those Rumbles. Let's take a look here. So let's add them. I'm not so sure about the main deck Endurance now. This could be another Brain Surge. I did buy another Brain Surge while I was over there. Brain Surge is really good. I'm not sure. Let's do the math and figure out what the odds of us actually hitting. Maybe the Endurance doesn't belong at all. Maybe we just have the Ground Seal. I think with the Murktides and with the Uros, we're fine against Delver. That is one matchup I want to consider. So let's do the math. We have, again, I'll sort by permanents. I did this earlier, but I just want to be sure I get it correct for the math. Let's read it. It's any permanent card, so it can be a land. So if you count the land, I mean, like the odds of us hitting, we're talking about almost 40 cards. Okay, so the odds of us hitting are 92%. It's actually not as high as you would think. Life from the Loam is a reason to play this. Okay, let's think about this again. So if we take out the prismatic endings, which, I mean, you could argue they're not spectacular here because Terminus does a lot of the same things, and we have Leyline Binding. That's like the weakest card in the deck. But what we bring in, we've already maxed on Uro, maxed on Beanstalk. I mean, we could bring the Ground Seals back into the main deck here, and then we could take these out because they're bad anyway because we've only got like 3 colors really. I mean, they could in theory hit a 4-drop, but I think Leyline Binding is much more reliable in that regard. Then we bring in like a Teferi. I'm not sure about the Teferi. I think 1 Loam is warranted though because we do have the Wastelands. And now that our green count is so high, it does feel like we could have an Endurance main deck. Again, like this is how brewing goes. It's a big circular process. There we go. 15 green cards, which increases the likelihood of Endurance. But if we just up the Endurance, I mean, Endurance is a heck of a card. We move the Ground Seal to the sideboard. Now we've got more permanent. Well, Ground Seal is a permanent as well. I guess we have to ask, like, what are the odds that we're going to actually want to Loam? Loam locking our opponent is a legit path to victory, though. If we throw one more Wasteland, there's a very real chance that we could be getting Loam into our yard. Because these basically they heavily reward having a Loam in your deck. So what I want to do is I want to take out some of these Lorians. I don't think they're that spectacular. They're all right. I think 2 is plenty. And then we've upped our land count to 19 or 29. And then we can play the Ground Seal. And Ground Seal and Loam is a nombo, as we established. I think we don't want Ground Seal at all. And I think we just want another Endurance. This is going to be tricky. We are going to have to go fetch non-basics a lot. We're very heavily reliant on green now as a color. And we have really just 3 green sources in the deck. 4. Where's our basic forest? There's no basic forest. Okay, I feel like we need a basic forest. Especially if we're playing Harbingers. So now we have 4 basics in our 3-color deck. That feels excessive. But we do want to be able to cast Murktide no matter what. It's kind of important. Okay, instead of playing some of these lands that fetch basics, I do think this is a 4 Windswept Heath deck now. I know it can't fetch. Windswept Heath, the only card it can't fetch is Xander's Lounge and Basic Island. Okay, so we've got all our Windsweeps in. And then we can play on basics if we want to. In terms of colorless mana, we do have a few things that use colorless mana, such as Beanstalk, such as Hardcast, Lorien Revealed. Leyline Binding is often going to be expensive in this deck. I think this is the list. We just need to make a couple sideboard tuning things. So we have the 4 negations in the 75. I do think it's fine to have 2 ground seals, just as additional anti-graveyard stuff. And we just take out the loam and bring those in. Oh, we need a Lavinia. I think she's good enough. All right. And that is the 75. I'm going to stop the video and then I'm going to make a quick sideboard guide. And then I'm going to restart and we're going to record this.